We gained our first exposure to Bitcoin in 2015 when it was a $6 billion network. Today, it's about a $1 trillion network in a $2 trillion new asset class. And that what I just said is very important, new asset class, because institutions have to look at Bitcoin. The correlation of returns here is very, very low relative to any other asset base. The highest correlation between Bitcoin and other assets is real estate, and that's a 0.3. That's the highest. If you look at most others, very low correlations. This is what institutional investors are seeking. We had a bit of a pullback this year after Elon Musk put Bitcoin on Tesla's balance sheet, Square as well, MicroStrategy as well. And the pullback was all about environmental. Is Bitcoin going to, is it consuming too much energy? Is it going to create too many bad environmental impacts? And so we had the setback from 64,000 to about 30,000. Now we're closing in on 60,000 again. And I think partly because of our work with Square, we held a conference called The B Word, and it was all about the misconceptions around Bitcoin in particular. And environmental is one of them. I remember the same argument being made about the internet in the 90s and early 2000s, that the consumption of electricity was outrageous. It was that of a major country. I forget which one they were using at the time. And of course, we can see how the internet has transformed our lives and increased access to the emerging markets through this little thing called the mobile phone, the computer, and transformed lives in such a good way. You can say there are side effects there, but I think everyone agrees that the internet has been a good thing. Bitcoin is the first private, global, rules-based monetary system that the world has ever known. And we believe that El Salvador, what's happening in El Salvador is unbelievable. Today, because the president decided that El Salvador was going to step out and innovate. The president there has given every one of his citizens $30 worth of Bitcoin in a Chivo wallet. Now, if you look at that country, only 1.2 million out of 4 million adults have banking accounts. Already today, roughly 3 million have downloaded the Chivo wallet and are using it not just to get access to that $30, but to do peer-to-peer exchange. So when you talk about the network effect, we think remittances will be one of the most important. And I believe we have numbers on that remittances account for a disproportionate amount of the activity. We believe emerging markets are going to embrace Bitcoin, get away from many of them have corrupt regimes, and they don't trust their monetary authorities. They don't trust their politicians generally. And so we think emerging markets are a huge use case here. And we believe that use case alone, if we take away the 4 major money supplies that probably aren't going to change that much, that use case alone will add, I believe the number is 200,000. If it were adopted fully throughout the emerging markets ex-China, that would account for $100,000 to $200,000. And forgive me, I don't know which one it is. I do know if institutions were to allocate 5% of their portfolios globally, ex-China, that use case alone would be $500,000 in addition to the $60,000 in Bitcoin's price. This is much like what happened with pension funds when it came to real estate in the 70s. It came to emerging markets in the 80s and 90s into the 2000s. We think this is the next iteration. This is the diversification into a completely new asset class, the first truly new asset class since the 1600s when equities launched. So genomics, we believe still today is the most underappreciated, is going to create the biggest surprises out there because we're so early. The autonomous taxi platform opportunity in transportation, we think that will happen more dramatically and sooner because regulators actually do want to save lives, and because 80 to 90% of all accidents and fatalities in cars are caused by human error, we're seeing our regulators becoming much more friendly to Tesla and to autonomous travel generally, because their scorecard is saving lives. And with texting, deaths have gone up, especially with young people. So the regulators are going to enable autonomous transportation to scale faster than we think the regulatory approvals will take place for a lot of the genetic related medicine, the genomics medicine. Nonetheless, the genomics opportunity will be bigger longer term.